Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of Hyperion, entitled Bold Projects. And we have an opening log by Mr. Bradley.
Stardate 57243.43. To say that our journey into the Delta Quadrant has been challenging would definitely be an understatement. When we stumbled into that situation between the Hakonnen and the Hierarchy and nearly got caught up in a war, it was good to see that we were able to avoid any bloodshed and hopefully inspire both sides to pursue a peaceful resolution. Hopefully, Ufru and Jif won't see any phaser fire at their upcoming wedding. Now the Hyperion is on our way to an anomaly in the area. The location was provided by the ship's newest friends at the Hierarchy. As we head towards our destination, the ship is currently holding an Anbo Jitsu tournament. It's been great to see people laughing and letting off steam for once. Plus, I haven't had a chance to practice my martial arts in a while. This should be fun.
All right, guys, and for our first scene, we're actually cutting to the Anbo Jitsu Tournament ring. So here I'd like to ask anyone, I've already got a scene set up for Bradley, but would anyone else have any characters that would join in this tournament?
I have a very important question on that note. The combatants in Ambo Jitsu have legs. Nyx does not have legs. Is that cheating?
I'll let Brad tell us if that's cheating or not.
I don't think so. You might have an advantage in using your connection to the ground to feel the vibrations, but as long as you're still blinded, I don't think it's too big of a deal.
All
And
right,
this
then.
is an informal tournament. This isn't a fully sanctioned tournament with the Ambo Jitsu Council.
Then Nyx doesn't expect to win or anything. She's just in it for the fun of it. So yeah, I think Nyx would participate.
So Nyx, your security is 2, and Alan, your security
5.
Okay, it's 5. So Nyx, why don't you roll a challenge dice for me? If you get a effect, that means you have been removed from the tournament earlier in the earlier stages.
Sure. I did not roll an effect.
So let's say you've made it to your round with let's put you against Alan here.
Okay.
So as the two of you gear up, you've got the strange Embo Jitsu armor on, and you know that's this game, the way it works, it's the one that Riker and his dad played, where they had the visors over their face and they swung the sticks around in American Gladiator style, very kind of awkwardly. This is Embo Jitsu. As you're getting ready, Nyx, you've got your outfit on. I guess it leaves room for your tail. I'm going to put Talek and Tessera in the room also. And as you guys are getting ready, Zach approaches you, Alan. And he says, excuse me, Lieutenant. You should win this. I have a fair amount of latinum placed on you.
Geez, Zach, this really is supposed to be just for fun.
Do you think it will hurt your career if you beat the captain?
Oh, geez, I didn't think of that. Why'd you have to put that into my head just before the fight?
Just something you should think of afterwards. I do not wish to lose my latinum.
Well, okay, I'll do my best, Zach.
With that, he gives you a pat on the back, and he walks over to where the other officers are, off of the mat, out of the way. Zach makes his way over to you, Talek, and he says, Commander, have you placed any bets or any wagers here?
Not quite. I'm just more here to see, how it goes and enjoy the spectacle of it all.
It will be interesting to see if any of them can last. The next round should be with the champion.
Do you have everything on Alan then? I'm presuming?
Of course, we security officers must stick together. I have put all of my money on him. I will be very sad if he loses.
Well then, I will be very excited to see the results of this. I'm sure it's going to be exciting at least.
And
all
as
of all of your money. That just does not sound very wise.
well, I can only go with my heart, Commander.
Barbaric event anyway. I should find a medical reason to end it. He rubs his chin.
I believe Ensign Fredrickson has found his way to the to sick bay with a minor concussion, so that there is possibility for injury.
Well, not my place anymore. He leans up against the wall to watch.
And Alan, as you and Nyx are preparing for battle, do you say any words to each other, or just step in the ring and get to it?
I think I pull my mask up and say, "Oh, Captain, you were very impressive in that first round matchup. I gotta say, what do you call that technique where you use your tail?"
Well, it's a lesser known technique, of course. I like to call it the and she actually kind of laughs to herself a little bit. I like to call it the snake in the grass maneuver.
I don't remember reading about that one in the academy.
Good, because I literally just made it up a few matches ago.
Good luck, Captain.
You do as well. And she lowers her faceplate down.
And as the two of you step into the ring, so the way we're going to do this is opposed melee checks, but the difficulty is going to be a 3. It's normally a 1. So what you have to do is you both have to at least overcome a difficulty of 3, and then we look at who scored the most successes, and then we go from there.
So, Brad, I'll ask you out of character. So do we want to do a gentleman's agreement where we cap how much momentum threat we spend, or do we just want to go balls to the wall kind of a thing?
Alan is not fighting to win. He's fighting to have fun.
Okay.
So I wouldn't be spending any momentum.
All right. I will, of course, honor the gentleman's agreement then. But
I do have a focus in hand-to-hand combat, though.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. But I'm gonna try and sell GM Josh on improvisation. So obviously, between her being able to sense the vibrations in the floor via her tail, and also because most of her senses is based on smell, maybe I can use those two in conjunction to get a better feel for where Alan is.
Yeah, I like it.
All right. Well, I'm not expecting 3 successes, but let's see what happens.
It's a security daring, if I didn't already mention that. It's a normal melee roll.
Well, I start off with 1.
So, oh wow, okay. So the first round is the two of you fumbling around the Ambojitsu circle, like you're swinging your sticks around. Maybe Alan, you're facing the wall, completely away from Nyx, and you're swinging your stick wildly. Let's go again.
They're not even swinging at each other.
It's very Jake the Snake Roberts and Rick Martel.
Mm-hmm. Yep, still just the 1. Ooh, interesting.
So Nyx, as you're swinging, you think you hear something in the back. And Alan, I'll say for this complication, what I'm going to do is you swung again, like you're completely facing the wrong way, but you've made a lot of noise. So I'm actually going to lower Nyx's difficulty to a 2, which means Nyx, in the next turn, when we do this, all you have to do is exceed a 2 and you will have hit Alan. Or 2 successes, rather. All right, let's go again.
Nope, of course I squander the opportunity.
Yeah, so Nyx, you think you hear the sound of Alan and you swing your stick, but Alan, you manage to step out of the way accidentally, and again you swing and you're all just flailing in the empty space. Yeah, let's go one more time.
What a sport.
Yeah, gotta love ambo jitsu. All right,
I mean,
let's see.
I think this replicates what it's like. You know, they couldn't see each other.
Yeah. Man, we are just not getting anything today.
With 2 dice, you kind of have to get a crit though to get 3 successes.
Right. Yeah, it looks like Alan rolled the exact same thing.
You rolled the same thing. That's what I missed. Yeah. So again, the two of you are sidestepping, swinging. And one moment, actually, I'm gonna look because Alan, you might have. Here's something I'll do for you, Alan. I'll give you a free determination here. I'll give you determination here, but you have to spend it right away. But your value on fortune favors the bold, which means you've been swinging around. You haven't really got a clue where the captain is. If you turn around if you spend your determination here, we will use that value perhaps in a bad way, where if you hit the captain, it might actually do a little more damage because you're like spinning around. But if you choose to do that, I'll let you have a determination to use how you'd like.
Sure, I think maybe Alan gets a little frustrated. This is probably much longer than any of the previous fights. And he just swings wildly.
And as usual, you can use that for auto crit if you'd like, or save it for a reroll.
I'll use it for the auto crit.
Cool. Okay. So you just need 1 success to hit, and ELH you need 3 as usual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm just looking at my talents to see if I could help anyway. No, because rattle we specifically said was for social conflict only, and this is not a social conflict. I mean, unless it would be one of those things. All right, here's an idea. Maybe it's one of those things where maybe Nyx is getting a little bit frustrated as well. So maybe her tail rattle begins to go a little bit. So maybe that's how his determination comes in, how he knows where to strike is because of the rattle. But because the rattle is going off, maybe that is what gives me the third D20.
Sure. I like it.
And of course, I roll nothing. Good job, me.
So Nyx, as you spin around, your tail's going, again swinging in the wrong direction. Alan, you swing around with the full force of your body and like a nice spin with your stick leading around, and you strike Nyx very hard. If you can roll your security for me, +2 challenge dice, that will be the amount of non-lethal damage you've just done to Nyx.
Oh yeah, there's a challenge dice button.
So I think it's 7 challenge dice. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's an injury. No two ways about it. That's definitely an injury.
How about, because it's fun, the way we'll play this is, Nyx, this basically takes you out of the ring, pretty much. So you lose the contest. And Alan, as your swing hits, it connects with you, Nyx, and throws you out of the ring, and you land right. I was about to say on your butt, but does Nyx have a butt?
I mean, the suggestion of one, because she sits on it on the bridge.
But that very clearly is enough for Alan to proceed and eliminate Nyx from the contest.
Tessera goes over just to make sure that the captain's okay.
And I think the captain actually just kind of puts up her faceplate and laughs and says, very good, very good. It's always great to be humbled like this. It's got to be more active, I see. Mr. Allen, if you would schedule me some form of a training routine in the weeks coming forward.
Alan gives the very deep traditional ambo jitsu bow and says, "Of course, Captain," and then looks over to Zach and kind of shrugs his shoulders.
Zach gives a fist bump or a fist pump, and he's like, "Yes!" And then he looks over at you, Nyx. "Oh, sorry, Captain, that you were hurt. Better luck next time." But he has a big toothy grin.
Nyx just sort of waves it off and goes to talk with Tessera a little bit, and just says, "No, Tessera, I'm fine. Just maybe a little bit of light bruising, but it's nothing I can't handle."
Yes, it appears that you were only in slightly less pain than I was watching the event.
Was it that bad?
Oh, yes.
I'll have to watch a holo recording of it later.
And off to the side, Nix, your communicator, which was probably on your shirt in some other place, beeps, and you hear, "This is Lieutenant Commander Adari to Captain Nix.
Go ahead. What's up?
Captain Nix, we have a communication from Captain Harrison on the Concorde. He'd like to speak with you when you have a chance."
Do I need to take it in private, or could I take it down here?
He said it's not urgent. Whenever you get a chance, he's trying to connect up. I think it's more of a status report.
Right. Let me find a pad and send it down here.
Yes, sir. We'll do. Oh, and Captain,
And
we're
yeah.
coming up on the anomaly.
Any change in sensor reading on the anomaly?
No, sir. We've been scanning it, and it's kind of interesting, but no change.
I'll route that call down here, and I'll be up to the bridge after I get changed.
Yes, sir.
And overhearing that, Tessera will go ahead and head up to the bridge.
Yeah, like Nyx actually maybe turns to say that, and seeing Commander already moving, she just sort of nods approvingly. And then she goes over to like a bench or a locker or some such and pulls out a standard pad and brings up the captain in question.
And as all this is happening, Alan, you know, like your next match is with the reigning champion on the ship, the reigning Ambo Jitsu champion. He's kind of a legendary figure, and you haven't really encountered him much before. But as the captain goes off to take that communication, you see him. He comes out of the shadows and advances towards you.
Of course.
And breaking with tradition, he's not wearing the armor of a typical Ambo Jitsu. He's just wearing the helmet, but he's holding the helmet. He's not really wearing it yet. He walks over to you with intense eyes and he says, "So I saw that match you were just in. Pretty good fight."
Hey, thanks. You know, the captain's actually better at this than I thought. I thought she'd be. I think we could maybe get her into some tournaments once we get back to the Elf Quadrant.
Perhaps so. But in watching you, I can tell. You know why you're losing this fight? You're not fighting with your heart. You're fighting with your mind.
Excuse what?
You need to try to fight with your heart, not with your mind.
You okay?
With that, vaguely, Nix, as you make your way over to the bench and you've got your pad materializing, let's just say a hologram off of your pad is projected, Captain Harrison.
Oh, Captain Harrison, what can I do for you?
And Harrison has that half smile that he always has. You can tell he's leaning back in a chair, sort of like with one arm on an armrest. He says, Captain, sorry, I didn't mean to catch you off duty. Is everything all right?
Oh, no. We're having a friendly Ambu Jitsu tournament, and I was participating. Nothing to be overly concerned about. Though this is unusual for you. Usually it's a few days before you contact me like this for your update. Anything amiss?
Well, we're getting ready to leave the Malon system, and just wanted to check in before we make our way to Agradas with the Lashu. But before that, there's a new craze that's taken over in the Malon people, and it's a bit surprising. It's ice cream.
Ice cream, you say?
Yeah,
Where did
ice
they
cream.
ever get that idea from?
I was going to ask you that. Apparently, it's swept over their whole society. It's very, very popular. And in fact, when we were meeting with their diplomatic team, that's all we did for the entire week was eat ice cream.
I don't know whether to congratulate you or send my condolences for your stomach.
Yeah, well, it's definitely changed my workout routine significantly. If you had any ideas on how that happened, that'd be interesting to put in my report.
And Nick sort of, rubs her chin in thought. I mean, we did sort of have ice cream at the reception, but we never gave them the recipe or anything. Maybe they saw it and got curious?
Out of character, the Malon are the ones that you guys encountered that were the Silverbloods that lost their cohesion. And Alan actually sent over the recipe to ice cream to the Malon ship as it was leaving.
Oh, I'm mixing up. I was thinking that was the one we just had a few weeks ago. So yes, in that case, pretend I didn't say that. Nick just sort of thinks and says, you know what, Captain? I might have an idea on that. I believe there was a data exchange between the Malon and some of my officers. So it's quite potentially that's where they got the recipe from. I mean, I don't know. Do you think this is prime directive breaking? Are we truly changing the course of a society via ice cream?
Maybe, but I can't see it being a problem. Maybe I'll forget to enter it in my log.
No, I'd say still enter it. The admirals back home will love that sort of thing.
Indeed. In fact, we're on our way to visit the Lachute, as I mentioned before. My engineer has, well, she thinks she's got a way to work out some floating habitations in case they want to try living on the surface.
Very good, very good. We ourselves are approaching a interesting anomaly. I say this just because it's prudent to do so. If you don't hear from us in the next 48 to 96 hours, definitely come looking for us.
That's a good joke, Captain. I'm sure you'll be able to handle it. But of course, if you need any help, let us know.
Will do. Anything else I can do for you, Captain?
No, I think that was it.
Very good. Nick's out.
And the communication ends. Also, recap, because it has been a while, the Agrada system with the Lachute, those were the ones that were exiled in the underwater prison. That's what he's referring to, that they're finally catching up. And with that, also out of character, that just goes to show that you guys are very far ahead of the Concorde with the use of the QSD you've been able to get. Very, very far ahead of them. They don't have it. At this point, the start of duty shift is coming close. Actually, Alan, let's resolve this, you and Seagal. Let's do just a straight security daring check. Let's just do one combat check. The difficulty, again, is a 3. And let's just do one roll and see who comes out. Just for funsies.
All right.
All right, so a tie. So, Nix, as you're getting ready to leave, you notice that Seagal and Alan are locked in combat on the ring, swinging their sticks wildly.
Yeah, and I maybe shout an encouraging cheer, but I don't say, "Hey, he's on your left," because that would be cheating.
And for our next scene, we transition to the bridge. And I guess we have Alan off screen getting cleaned up. But on the bridge, it's pretty quiet, except for you. Ahead on the view screen is the anomaly. To describe the anomaly in space, what it looks like is a giant reflective blue bubble. And the blueness looks to be reflecting some gases through outer space. But as you see, it's mostly shiny. There are stars that have been reflected. But actually, from the view screen, you can see the reflection of the Hyperion in the distance.
Oh, this is interesting. Commander Tassara, sensors, anything new?
He'll get everything together and start making sure to do an in-depth scan now that we're much closer.
All right, so let's do reason science. Difficulty here is going to be 2, already accounted for the lower difficulty from your advanced sensors, and the ship can assist with a sensors, science sensors.
You want to grab the ship there, Nick?
Yep.
I'll even use my momentum that I got for my wonderful joke. Oh!
So 2 successes is what you need. We'll get to the complication later. I'm going to save that. But first of all, what you've detected is this looks outwardly like a wormhole. It has the appearance of a classic wormhole. It is actually deflecting most of your sensor scans.
It is deflecting or rejecting most of the scans that we are sending its way, Captain.
But you say it's a wormhole, or it has the appearance of one.
It has the same basic properties.
I actually sort of turn a little bit to look at Telek. Commander Telek, do you think a Class 8 probe would be all right here?
I mean, we can definitely try. If it's a wormhole, we might be able to get some information before it ends up wherever this goes.
Well, we'll just have to hope that we're not about to literally pop a bubble here. Launch a level Class 8 probe, if you would be so kind.
And I'll go ahead and set all that up as the captain instructs.
Telek, let's do a roll for you. Let's actually do maybe an engineering control here. Let's do the difficulty of 2. And you don't think you have a focus here.
That's fine. Let's just see how it goes. It does not go.
So what happens is as you launch the probe to exits from the ship, you guys can see it on the view screen as it's heading towards the bubble, and it enters this wormhole looking anomaly and it disappears. You start to get telemetry, but then it cuts out.
Well, Captain, it looks like we lost contact with the probe. But I suppose that's not to be completely unexpected.
Was there any sort of spike of any kind of activity from the anomaly?
A slight increase in tetrions.
There was I don't even wish to speak of it, but there was a slight elevation in tetrions.
Let's move up to a Class 10 probe. Those are a little bit more heavily shielded and a little bit more heavy duty. And if that fails, think of something.
At this point, Alan, you manage to make your way onto the bridge as you see probes are being launched. You've got yourself cleaned up. I'll let you tell us the result with the resulting match with you and Seagal, how that worked out.
I think it was a draw. I think both Seagal and Allen were evenly matched for most of the contest. And then eventually most of the spectators lost interest. So they called it a draw. Seagal thinks he won, but everyone else called it a draw.
That sounds about right. All right, so for this next probe, Alan, you could launch it, or if you'd like, you could launch it.
You are welcome to give it a try if you want.
Sure. Can I roll control security instead of engineering?
Yeah, you can. This is just going to be like a create advantage sort of situation, which would allow you guys to detect the worm through the wormhole. So it's just going to be a difficulty of 2. And yeah, give me a security control. Just take a look at your focuses here. Yeah, you're good. Yeah,
Nice.
So Alan, you managed to launch the probe. Again, it leaves the ship. You see it enter the wormhole. There's a little bit of a flash as it enters the event horizon, or the exit portion of the wormhole. I'm forgetting my terminology. But the telemetry continues, and you see it traveling through the wormhole, and it actually exits on the outside. You're still getting transmissions from it as it's completed its path. It's not destroyed.
Captain, we're getting telemetry from the probe on the other side.
Where exactly, Mr. Allen?
You're getting a transmission from 400 light years away, which from QSD speeds is actually not very far. It would take you guys about an hour and a half at QST to get there.
Commander Tiscara, can you look at this information?
Yes, send it over. and he'll start taking a look.
The tester, if you can give me a reason, science difficulty 3, and you also do have a focus here.
Just the 2.
And can the ship assist?
I don't think so.
Okay.
What if I were to sell you on the ship assisting with computers and con, or computers and science?
I'll let you do that, but I'll augment the answer I give you based on which one you use. It's like if you go con, I'll tell you something related to con. If you do science, I'll give you something related to science.
I mean, I think both are equally important here. What do other people think?
Science,
go-
of course.
Yeah, science all the way.
Yeah, science.
All right. And since it was my idea, I will do the roll.
Hey.
Hey, there's your 3.
So this looks a lot like a subspace corridor. You know, it has the outward appearance of a wormhole, but the difference is, you know, wormholes tend to be very temporary. This looks like it's not. It might have actually been something that was designed.
With my free question, is there any odd elements or materials in the wormhole itself? Anything that would stand out or push it towards that man-made theory?
You don't detect anything physical inside of it, like any objects. Like the first probe you sent was not destroyed; it just made it through the other side. But you know, you lost the telemetry, and it's actually your probe now is detecting it. You don't detect any objects inside of it, though.
Well, we know where it comes out, and with QSD, we can get there relatively quickly, unless you wish to experience the tunnel.
I'm actually wondering, Commander, and this is, I guess, not just to you, but to the whole bridge, if anyone has any ideas. We're not exactly near any star systems, to my knowledge, so why would there be such a corridor here? If it is artificial in nature, one would say that it would have to connect 2 important points, but I'm not seeing any reason to do so.
Is there a way to potentially age it based on the uh, disintegration of certain particles coming off of it? The half-life of certain particles.
Oh yeah, you could work out a sciencey way to age this. Are you thinking about closing it, or did you have another idea in mind?
No, he's just trying to get roughly the age of the portal itself, so that maybe they can make some sort of leaps of logic based on the age of the portal.
I think you could absolutely do that.
Reason science.
Feel free to come up with. We'll determine what it is. If you can give me an approach how you would do this, and it could be totally something you make up. It doesn't have to be anything real, but I'll use that to determine what you're rolling.
So what he's doing is he is using the sensors to pick up and isolate certain particles towards the interior of it and towards the exterior of it, basically judging the age difference of the natural expanse of the portal itself, how the portal basically would eject the elements out, and he's trying to age the end elements.
Okay, that sounds more like a science control. I think that
Okay.
would work more in your favor here. And let me look at your. Yeah, I think theoretical experimental physics would probably match this.
Okay.
Let me see how Hyperion's going to help you. It's probably just a sensor science for Hyperion. But I think the difficulty is going to be a 3, which you've already got here. So very good. So you have a
Nice.
momentum.
We got a momentum.
As you begin to scan the advanced sensors of the Hyperion, you, like you were saying, you send out maybe a bunch of particles, and you analyze a bunch of particles that are inside of this wormhole, and your readings start to show that this thing is actually fairly old and approaching ancient, as in like thousands and thousands of years old. When all of a sudden, and this happens very, very quickly, alarms on your station start to beep, and you start to see that this wormhole is actually collapsing, and collapsing very, very violently. And this is me using the complication that you triggered earlier when you did your first scan. And what happens is, in a flash, you all see on the bridge, the wormhole completely collapses and sends out a wave of energy that strikes the Hyperion. And all at once, the lights go out on the ship, and from your station, Telek, just before your armrest display goes out, you see that all the power of the ship, all of it completely except for the computer and very basic functions, like, turbo lifts and life support, are the only things that are operational on the ship.
Captain, it appears we've lost almost all power.
Yes, that was an interesting effect we just experienced. Are you able to get a word down to engineering? Did it mess with our dilithium intermex chamber?
I can definitely go and take a look at it and see if I can troubleshoot. I think I'd probably rather be down in engineering myself, since this seems to be quite a substantial issue.
Yep, go for it. And then I think I probably reach under or reach into whatever we're flavoring as sort of the captain's storage compartment near her chair. And I'm pulling out a tricorder and just running a local scan of the bridge to see if there's like any residual sort of particles that came from the wave, things of that nature.
And Nix, as you open your tricorder, you notice it looks as though it's lost a lot of its power, but in a few seconds here, what you get is not only has the entire ship lost power, as you can tell, but there's also a ship that has approached, and just as you're seeing some of the evidence of this ship appearing on the bridge are several Tori. They are all armed, and as they materialize on the bridge, they point their weapons at each of you.
Now, it's been a while. Can you remind me what the Ture are exactly?
So from Voyager, the Tori are the ones that dealt with the Vadwar. If you can remember that episode where Janeway sort of wrecked the whole diplomatic situation with those people, what she did was she woke up the Vadwar, who had been frozen for thousands, maybe more years, and were the mortal enemies of these guys. And then she kind of pieced out and left them to deal with the whole situation. That is the summary of what you would kind of know, Nix, is that these guys, the last contact that they had was with Voyager. Voyager had woken up the Vadwar and just sort of left them to deal with it.
Yeah, I remember that episode now. I remember. Yeah, this was not one of Janeway's finer moments.
This, unfortunately, is some of the problems that you're going to deal with the Delta Quadrant. Is many times Janeway didn't really think about anyone else that would ever be in the Delta Quadrant. She was just trying to get through it. And yeah, unfortunately, this is some of the loose ends that came from that.
So as they beam in, I think I do one of those things that, I tell people, no, don't go for your phaser. Like, it just everybody stay calm, sort of a thing. But are any of them wearing insignia that would indicate that one of them is of a higher rank? Or
why don't you give me a command insight here, difficulty 1.
all right, would you give me people reading?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, only the one success, but that's all I need.
We'll say this guy here in the back. He's looking around. He's armed and he has a weapon pointed at Tessera. They all have their weapons raised and pointed at you guys, but he's looking around and he says, "Who here is in charge?"
I don't make any sudden movements, but I motion at myself and I say, that would be me. I am Captain Nix, and I speak for the Hyperion. To what do we owe this visit of yours?
And he looks at you and he walks a little bit closer. Still weapon trained on Tessera. He doesn't answer you, Nix. He hits a button on his, it's like a communicator maybe on his wrist, and he says, "Commander, we've located the captain of this vessel. Shall we secure them?" And the response comes back, "Yes, secure them immediately from my arrival." And then he cuts off the communication, and he says, "Everyone except for you," and he points to you, Nix, "you're to head to one of your cargo bays." And he motions something on a pad that he's carrying. He holds it up. "This ship is now the property of the Tory. Anyone that resists will be executed." I'm actually going to do a GM thing here, and what I'm going to do is, the term is, I'm going to do a reversal here. So I'm going to spend 8 threat, 2 for each of you guys to end this scene as you've been captured. I will allow one of you to take 1 action. And that doesn't have to be like attacking or anything. That just means in this short amount of time, there is at least one thing that you could do before you are noticed and rounded up. Everyone except for Nix will be taken off the bridge.
Tezra's gonna lock command function of the ship.
That actually was what I was going to be suggest, that somebody lock the command function or the computer function out.
What are the conditions of that lockout?
The conditions of that lockout would require Nyx and Tessera to reactivate.
Nix and Tessera together?
Together.
And so for our next scene, what happens is some time has passed, and Talek, Alan, and Tessera, you guys are escorted to one of the cargo bays, which is on the lowest part of Hyperion. I think I'd actually figured this out, what deck it is. A deck? Around deck 15, the lowest part of the ship. There are several cargo bays. You guys have been escorted down into one of those. And you can tell that some of the minor ship functions, like turbo lifts and doors and stuff, are still functioning, life support still functioning, but as you're walking to the ship, there's only red lights, none of the panels are activated, nothing like that, and they've taken all of your communicators. But they've escorted you guys into this room, and there's a bunch of other crew members as well. It's not just the 3 of you. And there are several Tory here. They all have weapons, and they just kind of herded you into the middle of the cargo bay, and they're standing guard.
Tessera is going around and just checking on everyone medically, since he basically has a double major, and he's going to just make sure everybody is comfortable and everybody is okay.
There are only slight injuries, and it's mostly just people being roughed around a little bit. Anyone that resisted or didn't move fast enough, the Tory had shoved them in here. Also, ELH, I'm giving you Harlock, so you have someone here.
Alrighty.
I think Alan will confer with Talek and Tiskar, and I'm not sure I know the deal with these guys. What? Does anyone know what's going on?
Do not believe that they are. Well, I think the technical term is they are assholes.
Oh,
I was going to say that they are one of the groups that we didn't quite make friends with the last time that the Federation was in the Delta Quadrant, but I think that might be applicable as well.
well, this isn't how I expected to be spending my Saturday afternoon.
At least on the bright side, the power drain was intentional, and we're not going to lose life support anytime soon.
And I think Harlock actually rolls his eyes at that and goes, "Why did you have to jinx it?"
It's just an observation.
Are well, Commander, uh, should we rely on our captain to perform diplomacy here, or does somebody have a plan?
I always believe that it is the first responsibility of any prisoner to find a way of escape.
How closely are these Toure watching us?
That was exactly what I was going to ask.
It's a big cargo bay, and there are several of you guys. Like, they didn't empty the cargo bay. There's stuff here, and I've got 4 here. It's probably 6 or 8 total by the doors, and they are armed. They're kind of distant. Like, if you speak quietly, they probably can't hear you. They are paying attention to larger groups of people and breaking them up, though.
Oh, my headset cord got caught in my feet. There we go. I think Alan will start to slowly make his way towards the back of the cargo bay. And maybe see if there's a access to the Jeffries tubes.
Why don't you give me a security daring here? I'm going to say the difficulty is a 3. And this is you being sneaky.
I'm going to try to make a diversion.
Okay.
To help give him an advantage.
What's that diversion?
Where he will go over to Harlock and basically be, okay, now you must be very convincing in this. Oh, look, you have a cardiac arrest, and he lays him down. He lays him down.
And I think Harlock hams it up, like grips his chest and goes, God, oh God, the pain. Oh,
The big one.
This is it. Tell my cat I love her.
I think the assist is actually going to come from Harlock here. If you can give me a command presence. The command presence assist here.
Okay, it's
I mean,
not
you don't
terrible.
know the difference between us really in pain and us not in pain.
All right. I don't think, unless you're going to give me linguistics as a focus, I don't think this counts.
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, he got you 1.
No, I think it was all Harlock.
Oh, was it
On the
all?
roll.
I heard assist.
It's an assist from Harlock. Yeah, this is the
okay.
assist to Alan sneaking. Alan sneaking
okay.
was the
That's cool.
security daring difficulty of 3, but this is 1 success off of that.
I'll use I'll buy an extra dice with momentum. And can I say I'm using my focus in investigations or survival?
You could sell me on survival, but how is that going to apply?
I'm trying to be as sneaky and hidden as possible, making as little noise as possible if I do find the Jeffries tube.
Okay,
Just
I'll see it.
Away.
I'll
Getting
see it.
away.
Survival, sometimes you're taught to be quiet so animals don't eat you. So yeah, it's loose, but yeah, I'll give it to you. It says you're making your way across the room. Maybe you're behind all this commotion. And Harlock, you fall to the ground. You're doing the, oh, my heart, my chest. The Tory are paying attention. And then, Alan, you move around the back of one of the containers thinking that they may not have seen you. But this guy in the corner, apparently, he got up on the right side today. He had a good breakfast. And he notices you immediately. And he points a weapon at you. And he says, you, back in the center of the room. I won't warn you again.
Oh, sorry. I'm just looking for the replicator. I'm a bit parched. I was just in a martial arts tournament earlier today, and I haven't had a chance to rehydrate. And that's really important,
And he says, center of the room.
And yeah, I don't think we're not ready to do anything. So Alan will just slowly back up and go around the corner.
And Harlock, with your feigned attack, they don't move to help you. They just leave you.
I mean, I was told to ham it up, so Harlock goes like deadly quiet and still.
So we're actually going to transition to the next scene, which is in the captain's ready room. And Nix, you've been escorted into your ready room by 2 of the armed guards. They have their weapons trained on you. They've got one hand on one of their disruptor rifles, and their other hand is like holding the top part of your arm. And they force you kind of into your ready room. And you notice behind your desk is Otori. He's sitting there, and he's actually looking at things on your desk.
I sort of straighten my uniform a little bit and say, "You must be the captain of this outfit. I don't think I have the pleasure of knowing your name."
And the captain, he's looking at the things on your desk, and he's kind of holding each of them up in turn and inspecting them. That's interesting. I've never seen a ship so focused on the aesthetic.
Well, we're definitely not a warship if that's what you were expecting.
He motions to one of your chairs on the other side of the desk. Have a seat.
I think she does sit down. I don't think she's going to make it a point to, stay standing.
And you notice that this whole time as he's been looking at the things on your desk, he's actually been rearranging them on your desk. So they're like in order in size from like smallest to large.
I mean, I think internally Nyx is just a little bit annoyed, but she doesn't let it show.
What exactly is the name of your species?
Mine is the Cephalus. Why?
I'm curious. Your vessel seems to hold a variety of life forms.
Indeed. If you've already run a scan like I know you have, then you know we also have Cretaceous ops, which means that we have fully aquatic crew members as well.
Yes, it's a interesting configuration. How common would you say your species is?
In general or in Starfleet?
From whatever part of space you come from.
I mean, we come from the Alpha Quadrant, so we're fairly common in the right circles, but what is it that you're after, Captain? I don't mean to cut to the chase here, but you do sort of have me at gunpoint here.
Yes. Yeah, you see, Captain, it's my hope that this can be a pleasant exchange for as much as it can be. I'm going to ask you this, and I hope you will tell me the truth. What exactly is your mission here?
Well, our mission is twofold. First is, of course, the Starfleet mission to boldly go where no one has gone before, to seek out new life and new civilizations, things of that nature. But the secondary, and perhaps in relation to you specifically, is Starfleet is trying to make, I guess you would call them, amends for the mess that Janeway left behind when she came through the Delta Quadrant.
Leans back a bit. The mess. You'd call it the mess.
Well, I'm trying
phrase.
to be politically correct.
How did you collapse the underspace tunnel?
I assume you mean the bubble that we just popped?
Again, an interesting turn of phrase.
I wait just a second to see if he says anything else, and when he doesn't, I just sort of continue on. Well, we sent a few probes through it, and then we ran some intensive scans. Honestly, I'm at a loss as why we popped it in the first place.
And while you're talking, he's rubbing his chin, and you really get the feeling that he is very, very heavily analyzing every word that you say. And after a moment of silence, he stands up and kind of turns a bit and looks at some of the other things on the shelf by your desk. And he turns. What is the nature of your alliance with the Vedwar?
As far as I'm aware, we don't have anything resembling an alliance. In fact, last I knew, we had left the Vadwar on a decidedly aggressive tone.
Let me tell you a story, Captain. Almost a year ago, the Vaadwaur emerged from a deep sleep they hadn't been seen in thousands of years. And this deep sleep was interrupted by a vessel much like this one. Immediately, the Vaadwaur began to take the underspace back, and a war ensued. Our first few conflicts with them were decidedly in our favor. We were the victors. However, the Vaadwaur quickly adapted to our strategies and our weaponry. Well, the war has been quite one-sided since then in their favor. They've been restructuring the underspace, which is the key to our travel between our worlds, and cutting us off from our own colonies. The question is, how could the Vaadwaur have advanced so quickly without help? Well, that was a question we have been unable to answer. Now imagine this. We've come across a vessel. Just as an underspace tunnel is collapsing, a vessel that brings a very strong resemblance to a vessel that freed them in the first place. So I'm going to ask you again, Captain, what is the strategy here? What is the end game of the Vaadwaur?
Well, first off, I would simply like to point out that, and I point at one of my models in the corner, and it's like an Intrepid class and the Luna class, together. That, pointing at the Intrepid, is the ship that you're talking about. That is the ship we're currently on, pointing at the Luna. But no, there is no game here. There is no angle. I think you simply have misunderstood our purpose here. We're explorers. We're not here to help out the Vaadwaur. We're not here to antagonize you or your people. I think this has been a grave misunderstanding of why we're out here.
If it's a misunderstanding, and he turns around your computer display, you will unlock your main computer so that we can verify your claims.
And what assurances do I have that I'll get my ship back if I do so?
Let's just say it would be good for you and your crew.
I'd like to get a read on him, if that's okay. Does he seem like he's an honest individual, or is this more of a do what I want and then I'm going to screw you over type of a deal?
Let's do maybe a command insight difficulty 2, and it's such a low difficulty because I think his intentions, or at least the attitude he's projecting, should be fairly clear to Nyx.
Okay.
And people
Just
reading,
wanted to
yeah,
make sure.
definitely comes in here.
All right. 2 successes.
All right, well, that crit, I'll even give you some more here. You're fairly certain, as in like the 90 percentile certain, that when you unlock that computer, he's probably going to take everything that he wants, and he has all the cards now. You will definitely have no persuasion. You will have no control in this argument at all if you give him access to the main computer. He hasn't given you any evidence that he's going to let you go.
That being the case, then Nyx pivots and says, well, Captain, I don't really have any reason to trust you here. I mean, you are, again, holding me at gunpoint. I'm hesitant to do anything you say when you could just as easily renege on our deal.
Captain, we are at war. That should be a concept you understand, right? People are dying.
I don't know war firsthand, but what I do know is that perhaps if you relinquish control back to us, we can perhaps find a way to collapse more of the corridors that are causing you so much issue. I have a few thoughts on the matter, but again, I'm very hesitant to share them given current circumstances.
Let me ask you, Captain, if the roles were reversed, let's say your only other encounter with a vessel like mine had been in a situation where we had unleashed an enemy upon you that had created a year-long war that had unraveled the very backbone of your society, would you trust me?
I've heard that same line used 6, 7 times already during our trip out here, and I'm going to continue to say what I've always said in this situation, and that I'm not here to make problems. I'm not here to resort to violence. I'm here to find a peaceful solution that gets everybody at the table talking rather than shooting at each other.
So let's see, Captain. If you can come up with a way to repair this underspace corridor that just collapsed, maybe we can talk.
Repair? I was under the impression you wanted them gone.
No, the underspace is the very fabric of our society. What's happened is the Vaadwaur have seized the underspace from us. They are restructuring it and rebuilding it to meet their own designs, cutting off large pieces of our territory. Planets that were only hours away by the underspace are now hundreds of years away by warp speed. And you can imagine how this gives them a tremendous technical advantage.
I can certainly see that, yes. Again, I have a few thoughts, but I'm going to need something from you in return.
And what is that?
Well, for one, you could let my crew not be kept in a cargo bay.
And he looks and he says, "One moment," and he hits something on his communicator, and he says, "Bring one of them to the captain's office." And he says, "We will see, Captain, exactly how far your resolve can go."
I mean, Captain, if you expect me to talk because you're going to torture someone in front of me, I think you'll find that while I am here to be peaceful and I am here to more or less make sure that everybody walks away cleanly from this, the moment you actually start hurting my crew is when things start to get ugly.
With that, we're going to cut back to the cargo bay. So some time has passed. Again, the Tory don't seem to really be giving you guys much latitude. They just
What
want
is
you to stay.
in this cargo bay?
I'll let you guys decide. What's in this cargo bay?
Phasers, Type 3 phasers,
Okay, sure. Type 3 phasers.
all fully powered.
Okay, fully powered Type 3 phasers. I'll say there's a couple containers of...
I don't think that would make sense.
They probably
I
wouldn't
was
be an
about to say,
unsecure...
most things on the ship have been drained of power.
Yeah.
I'm thinking more on the lines of since we're doing the types of things we're doing, I was thinking medical supplies would be available in general.
That's likely, yeah.
And with that, Tesla's going to try to find a bunch of different pieces of medical equipment that he could potentially use for different purposes. He used to be very inventive with medicine in the past, in torturing. So he has a general idea of what could be used and what couldn't be used. So he is going to try to use that knowledge to find some things, because he's looking at this situation as this is a hostile situation. It's only a matter of time before the command staff is tortured for information. And he wants to try to make something to make it so that whoever's being tortured can resist at a better level.
Okay.
Oh, that's not even where I thought you were gonna go with that. I thought maybe we find a way to put a sedative in a hypospray and try to knock out a few of the guards in an escape.
That's also something that we're going to look at. But there's a lot of them right now, and they're armed, and he's not willing to risk anyone on the ship at this point. So he's kind of hanging that one back.
So that's plan B. Let's go with plan A for now.
That's plan A, the interrogation resistance thing.
Yes.
So that's probably...
I'd volunteer.
Yeah, and he's going to instruct Alan on If you are taken, just take this on your way up, and you should have quite a bit more resistance than normal.
Whew. Oh, okay, Commander. Can't say I've ever been tortured before, unless you count Dr. Smith's classes at the academy.
Yeah, I was tortured just earlier today watching some sort of barbaric melee sport.
Hey, that was majestic.
Hmm. Yes, we can say that, but it is very important that you use this at the latest time possible. It has a limited window of use.
Okay. I assume it. What is it? Like a little hypo spray, or
Yeah, it's like a small. Um, he's gonna make it so that it fits in your palm, and you can just press it against you.
okay. So yeah, I kind of tuck it into the little waistband so I can hide it.
First test roll, let's see how effective this would be. And I was thinking about this while you guys were talking. I think the fair way to do this is I'm not going to tell you the difficulty on how
Mhm.
this works. And whatever that difficulty is, if you meet it, it'll achieve what you want. If you exceed the difficulty, I'll make it even more effective. So you can go in as much as you want or not on this. But I
Mhm.
won't tell you if it's actually going to work until it comes into play if Alan takes it.
Okay.
But
All
I
right.
think it's going to be a medicine daring, I think.
All right, that's perfectly fine with me. Let us look at some focuses here. Surveillance and counter surveillance.
Yeah, that's probably vaguely close.
It's a reach, I understand, but he also has advanced medical research. So
It's all right. I'm usually
right.
sold for for worse here, so I'll take this.
All right. And I am going to spend a determination for the fact that he's haunted by his past, and this is something that is just it reminds him too much of the past.
Okay.
Oh God!
I see 6 successes there with your determination.
Yes.
So I didn't tell you the difficulty, but I'm going to tell you just right off with that roll. It's going to be very, very good.
Oh God, that was great.
So Alan, you're past this hypo spray. You can do with what you'd like, but yeah, Tessera, you've managed to put this together without the Tori even noticing really or giving you much notice either way.
Yeah, I palm it and I hide it in my waistband for now because he told me not to take it until I needed it.
There is a crackle at one of the consoles that's on this wall, and one of the Tori walks over, and he looks at it, just makes a noise, and he locks eyes with you, Talek, and he says, are you an engineer?
Yes, I am.
See what's going on with this. Don't do anything funny, I'll be watching you.
Okay, and I'll go over and take a look.
And the console looks just like an environmental control. But when you get over there, on the audio, very silently, you hear, Commander, this is Dr. Jarvik.
Yes, doctor, and I will speak very quietly.
How are you doing, Commander?
We're holding up well over here, all things considering. No more than bumps and bruises.
I am in an environmental suit on deck 8. And you remember that Jarvik is a Zindi aquatic, so for him to actually go off of deck 6 for real, he has to be in his equivalent of an EV suit because he's leaving the water and there's atmosphere. So he's saying that he's in an EV suit personally, and he's left at deck 6 and he's on deck 8.
Doctor, what are you trying to accomplish?
Commander, I am trying to rescue the ship.
he's sort of considering for a moment. I don't know what to do with that. We could do that, Brad. Is there anything that I can help with from here?
I must confess, Commander, I don't know much about engineering. I thought that once I managed to get out of Deck 6 that I would have a plan, but I don't know exactly what I can accomplish, but if you direct me, I could try something.
Like, restore power to the ship, or do something to interfere with everyone else? I mean, I'm welcome. I'll guide you to engineering, but I'm not sure exactly what you're intending at this point. Has the captain been in contact with you? She's currently speaking with them.
I have not heard from the captain. I hope they are well.
Yeah, I hope we hear something soon.
Commander, it might be easier for me to provide some kind of distraction. To use a medical metaphor, sometimes, in order to trick the body in repairing itself, we create another area of distraction.
As long as it's not putting yourself in danger, you are welcome to, I don't know, if you need to break something in engineering to make enough of an emergency that they leave us alone here,
Let's see.
then you're
Commander,
welcome.
I have entered a Jeffrey's tube. Is there something I should look for? I have found a conduit that says high-powered plasma.
That one might not be the safest to mess with. Maybe if you interfere with some of the wiring, I think that'll probably be a slightly safer and still pretty damaging distraction, let's say.
Your communication goes a little staticky, but you do catch this part just before it ends. Ah, I see something that says gravity control. I'll try to manipulate that and see what happens. And then and then it cuts off.
Perfect. That is a very good distraction. And I will mess around with the control and just see if I can make it look like it's fixed.
And the Tory that's closest to you comes over and he says, "Was that thing talking? I thought I heard something. You have to be done by now, whatever you're doing."
It has an audio mode, which is what I tend to use to assist in repairing it when we are on low power situations such as these.
And specifically referring to this guy, Alan, you've noticed that his back is turned to you.
Oh man. Well, the first thing I do is I will kind of give Tiscara the little a little nudge, kind of point it out that guy is not paying attention, and I look to him for approval. I think you understand what what I want to do.
He puts out his hand for the spray though.
I'll give it back to you.
And then he nods.
I am gonna. Is he holding his phaser, his disruptor phaser in his hand, or is it on his hip?
He has his disruptor in his hand. However, he was mostly paying attention to Telek. He's standing next to Telek, but his disruptor is pointed at the floor, and his back is turned to you. So like he's mostly paying attention, trying to see what Telek was doing, and he's forgotten about the rest of you.
I will kind of slowly move a little closer, and then as soon as I'm within range to do it, I will hip check him into the wall.
And you're not doing anything with the injection that Tessera gave you?
I gave it back to him.
Okay, got it. I think what we need to do here is let's see how stealthily you've managed to make your way over there. And if you fail that, that means they've recognized you, and we're probably going to go into normal combat. If you successfully sneak by him, then he doesn't notice you get close, and you can attack him next without them being right on task with like attacking you back, essentially. So I think I need you to do a security daring, and we're going to do an opposed roll. I'm actually going to make him do a security presence, or security insight rather, to see if he notices you. And we'll just do an opposed check and see what happens.
Okay. I'm kind of trying to do this isn't a move that's in any Starfleet textbook. I'm kind of going barroom brawl style, shove him into the bulkhead and knock him out. Would that be an unorthodox combat tactic?
I think so, but we first need to make the check to see if you can make your way across the room without him noticing you, and then we'll.
But I want it on this one. Okay.
Yeah, so you did get the same number of successes as him, but you do have a complication. So with the tie,
could I burn?
You could give me 2. Well, what you could do is you could burn determination to reroll the 0, or you could give me 2 threat.
I will. Yeah, I will burn a determination to reroll the 0. And I'm using a salvo of torpedoes can solve almost any problem. This is essentially the same idea.
Sure.
I've grown tired of standing here. I'm fairly certain my crew is in danger. It's time to fire.
Sure. I like it.
So
that is in your favor. So you do get 1 momentum because you exceeded his roll by 1. And yeah, now you can do the combat roll. Since you've snuck up on him, what I'm going to do is this entire first round of combat, I'd say Tessera and Alan, you guys can make normal combat action if you'd like, and then everyone else is going to start the next round. Like you've completely taken them by surprise.
Okay. Tessera is going to grab just a hypo spray and load it with something that's going to knock somebody out.
Okay.
And he is not a combat junkie, that's for sure. So he is going to kind of hold back and act like he's cowering, so that potentially if somebody goes by, he can kind of press his luck and sneak attack them. Yes.
Okay. And Alan, I think we already know what you're doing. You're photon torpedoing him into the wall.
Yes.
Well, let's do that opposed hand-to-hand check and see what happens.
Daring security.
Yeah.
I would like to use a momentum. Kind of need this to succeed.
Well, I rolled just a complication, no successes, so I think you're gonna have a good time here.
I forgot that you can do it this way.
So have it.
And I do get my focus, I guess, in both martial arts and blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm. Martial arts, definitely. Oh, Look at that. That's a good roll, but still you have a complication.
I can't do anything about the complication, I don't believe.
You can give me threat. It would be 2 threat.
You didn't get any successes there, right?
None. Yep. And I have a complication as well.
It's difficulty 1, so I did succeed by 2. Can I give you momentum instead?
Oh yeah, you could do that.
Is it 2 momentum for the threat?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give that to you. I'm afraid that you'll take away the one thing I really want from this guy if I give you the complication.
So I'll tell you
So
what
I will give you the momentum.
What his complication is when you hit him, he goes flying over, and we'll see when you roll your damage what that result is. But he does drop his disruptor to the ground.
Perfect.
With that effect, you have at least one effect. He is knocked down, and with 6 damage, I mean, that's an injury, so he collapses unconscious.
And can my minor action be to collect the disruptor?
Sure.
Is it what kind of weapon is it?
It's a disruptor rifle. It only has a lethal setting.
Oh. Is it accurate?
It is. It does have accurate. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Other than that, it's just a typical disruptor rifle. It does have vicious 1. There's no stunning anyone with this thing.
Yeah.
But the top of the round, because you surprised him in that first roll that we did that started all of this, I'm going to pass it back to the players. But now Talek or Harlock, you can also act first, if you'd like, or we could go to Alan or Tessera.
I do have... I'm on a different computer, so I don't have my talents all written out in front of me, and I'm having a really stupid time opening the books in Google Drive. I do have Fire at Will, but I think I need momentum to do that. I also have Quick to Action, so we can go twice. So if anyone wants to act before I do.
You know what? God, that's gonna be bad. Yeah, Tessera's not acting first. That's just not gonna happen.
Okay.
He has to wait. He has to wait for a chance to do it sneakily.
I'll go first then, if that's okay. I'll move to around the corner of these boxes. How guilty will I feel if I fire this disruptor and kill someone? They did take our ship. That's a big no-no. I'm gonna fire the disruptor at this turret.
Well, the downside I have to let you know is if you fire a lethal weapon, you do have to give me 1 threat.
I'll still do it.
Okay. Yeah, then it's just a difficulty of 2. It's a security control. But you used your minor to move, so I don't think you have a minor to aim if you wanted to try that. Okay.
I purposely wanted to be around the corner.
Okay.
Right there. Kind of putting these boxes here in between me and this turret. So he'll have to maybe move over here and...
Yeah, yep. I'm thinking with you.
Does my focus and phasers apply?
Yeah, I think so. It's close enough.
Okay.
One momentum. But I believe a phaser rifle is 4 challenge dice plus your security, so you're rolling 9 challenge dice.
Again, I'm having such a difficult time opening these books, so I will I have to move them to my SSD after the game. 9 dice, and effects are double damage essentially.
Yeah, if it's just 1.
This guy might just get vaporized.
I think he's very dead. 8. I mean, that's enough for an injury though, and since he's not anybody important, I'm going to say he doesn't vaporize because he would have only gotten 1 injury, but that's enough to kill him. So you shoot him perhaps square in the chest. He flies back into the corner, and he is down.
Okay.
Yeah, so
And,
this... Oh, you have quick to action, right? So you guys can go again.
Yes.
So that's either Harlock or Telek, because I have to wait until I get some sort of. You know what? Screw it. All right, I'm going after him. I've got 1 momentum to spend.
So you're,
That's all you need.
so take it your minor is to move into range, and you're going to go
Mhm.
fisticuffs with a hypo spray with this guy?
Mm-hmm.
Exciting,
That
all
or
right.
do the two-handed Kirk punch. That always works.
Mm-hmm.
So the way this works, if you can give me an opposed hand-to-hand check with him, it's a security daring. Gonna see if you have any focuses. I have a feeling you may not.
Oh no. I don't think so.
Yeah,
He is attempting to do a medical procedure.
all right. How about, okay, you have a focus in counseling. So if you give me a smart quip as you're attacking him, I'll let your focus apply. But you have to give me the quip.
I see that you have many anger issues to work out. Let's talk about it.
I love it. Oh no, I got 3 successes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not gonna beat that. But hey, it was worth it. Awesome.
Oh, you were so close. Because you're so close, this is a case where determination to reroll that 0 if you wanted could apply. With a tie, it would go to you, but you'd have to get a success.
Actually, I had already used determination
Oh, that's right, you have.
for the other thing, and I rolled veteran and didn't get it back.
Yeah, I think in this case, yeah, he does 3 damage to you, 3 stress damage to you, but he had an effect, so he actually knocks you down. And I'd say as he knocks you down, it's because he got a crit. I'm going to say that you lose grip of your hypo spray. It doesn't go
Okay.
far away. It's just going to be, you have to spend a minor to pick it up again.
All right, and with that, he's going to just overact and like sprawl out on the ground like he's unconscious.
That's appropriate. So I think moving on to these guys, the one that you attacked, Tessera, he moves over into cover, and he reaches around and takes a shot at you, Alan, with his disruptor rifle.
How dare he?
I believe I have to spend 1 threat because it's lethal. And he cannot shoot. And with this complication, let's see, what's his complication? I'd say as he takes a shot at you, he leans around and he steps completely out of cover. Like he had intended to be in cover, but he moves too far the way to try to get a shot at you, and you actually have a very clean shot at him.
So he thinks he's hidden, but
His idea was good, but when his zeal in attacking you, he lost the benefit of cover. But I believe that moves us back to you, Telek or Harlock.
I mean, could Harlock conceivably get up to his feet and help Tassara out here? Or do I not have enough movement because I forget what it is to get up from being prone?
Oh, you could do that. Your minor's probably getting up, and you could. Let's see. Yeah, you'd have to spend your major to move. I think you have to spend momentum to actually do a second minor.
I'll give you 1 threat.
Cool.
As Harlock jumps to his feet and rushes the turret that Tassara was going after. All right, so let's see. Harlock doesn't have much in the way of stats, but I believe in him.
You do have another activation of Harlock, at least, that you could.
Oh no, I
use
already
here.
gave him a focus in acting.
Oh, and acting.
just act like you're good at fighting.
Yeah, you know.
Stage fighting's a martial art.
I'm gonna spend 1
Hey,
threat for an
2
extra dice.
successes.
It's not bad.
Tie goes to
Tie
you.
goes to me. Yeah, so doing a whopping 2 damage here, folks. 2 damage.
He did get an effect though.
Nah,
Oh,
no effect,
Nice.
unfortunately.
Oh, I was looking at the wrong one. Sorry.
So yeah, what is that 2 damage non-lethal attack? What does it look like on this guy?
Harlock runs up to him, cocks his hand back, and then just does a pimp slap across the face. Doesn't do
Acting.
much.
Acting.
Yeah, acting. Two.
Ding.
All right. Okay. I think the other Tory we haven't heard from, he's gonna spend his minor to move up 1 zone, and he's gonna lean around a corner, and I think he's probably gonna take a shot at you, Alan, and not Telek, because you have the
What?
weapon.
Why? That's so
Yeah.
weird.
You have the
You're
weapon.
threatening.
That's so strange.
You should have pulled Telek in front of you like a shield.
Yes, Telekis survived so much. Don't do this to me.
You know what? Actually, I don't have any threat to spend, and his only option at range is a lethal attack. So I think I'm going to amend that to where he's going to spend his minor to move here, and he's going to take a swing at you, Alan.
Oh, okay.
Because I don't have threat to spend on his disruptor attack, so his only option is melee. So that's what he's going to do.
He kind of is a little nervous and makes the wrong move.
Well, the guy that you attacked, let's say you pushed on the corner, maybe that was his cousin. And instead of attacking you with the more logical option, the disruptor, he's overcome with anger. He runs past the containers and charges you.
All right, this is daring security.
Yeah, and he's got 2 successes, so that's something.
Ah, darn.
So would you like me to keep the complication, or do you want to give me threat?
I would like to give you threat.
Okay. So with the effect, he does knock you over, but by just giving me threat, you do keep your hands on the disruptor rifle.
Oh, and I take some damage, right?
Oh yeah, you took 3 stress. And I think the only person we haven't heard from is Telek.
Yeah, I have a question. How soon would the good doctor's chaos come into play? Would that happen on this part of the ship?
How about I roll a challenge die? If we get an effect, then something happens. Nothing
Well,
remarkable has
try.
happened.
I will I guess attack this guy since he just knocked Alan over.
I appreciate it, Commander.
And I've got 1 success in that opposed check.
Okay. There we go. Oh, well, it was worth a try.
So sorry, that's 2
This
stress
guy
damage.
is good.
And with an effect that he knocks you down as well.
He's really pissed off about his cousin.
He is. He's very strong, much stronger than we assumed he was.
I
That's
mean,
why he melee. He was very confident.
I mean, at some point we're gonna have to start playing yakety sax. I hope everyone realizes this.
I mean, we can do that.
So what I'm learning is the Hyperion crew not so good at hand-to-hand combat. Got it.
Not so good at rolls in general.
Yeah, I think I'm willing to say it's us as players with bad rolls. We might just be cursed.
Yeah, that's a lot of complications that have been rolled.
All right, Harlock. So what's happening is this guy, because as we start a new round, it's going to start with their turn. This guy is going to attack you hand to hand. So he's going to try to return that backhand.
We just get into a slapping match.
He's just not a fan of your acting. Yep, it's slapping.
Whap, 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 whap.
Wow, I'm just rolling well today. That's 2 successes.
Well, I don't think he's gonna win, but I'll still roll. Nope, whole lot of nothing, and he is injured and knocked down.
I'm so sorry.
Wow.
That is 5 stress. Yeah.
This is just, he's way too overdramatic.
So you could give me threat, of course, to keep him up, or you could take
No,
him
I
out.
think it's funny that he gets hit. He gets backhanded so hard that he slumps up against the containers behind them and just goes to the ground.
But it's back to you guys.
Can I fire the disruptor from my butt?
You can. If you're firing at the guy that's here, I might up the difficulty because he's so close to you. But the guy here, I think you'll be fine. The normal difficulty.
Then I'll fire at this guy then.
Then that's just a difficulty of 2.
I
But
see.
you-
He's a little. This one here is a little distracted with Commander Telek, and as much as I want to help, I see everyone on this side is in even worse shape.
It is 1 threat to fire the disruptor, though.
That is okay. I'll stand up and fire the disruptor.
So you're minor to stand up, and then you're a major to take a shot. That's good enough for a hit. Remember, it's 9 challenge dice. Vicious 1. That
Cool.
is a dead Tory. So what happens is you shoot him. It strikes him in the middle of his chest, and there's that quick disintegration effect, and he lets out just a small scream as he is vaporized. Yeah, which just leads me my 1 remaining guy here. I think after he sees you disintegrate his friend and the others in the cargo bay are incapacitated or killed, he puts his hands up. And he says, I surrender.
Drop
I'll
the
go.
rifle.
I'll tend to Harlock.
And he puts the rifle down.
I kick it to Telek.
I'll pick it up and hold it.
And I will I'll look to Telek, and then I will move over to the other I'll start over here, and I will do a tour of the room just to make sure we're clear.
And Tessera, I'll give you the option. You can succeed at cost with bringing Harlock up, or you can do a roll.
At cost is fine.
It's pretty trivial for you in the circumstance with no battle going on. Just wanted to give you the
Yeah.
option.
Yeah, it's fine.
So I'd say with the disabled Tory, you have enough to give everyone a disruptor rifle if you'd like. And then just checking the Tory, they do have their risk communicators. Well, that's about all of the loot that you could get off them.
I assume most rooms in a starship have some sort of panel where there's like some phasers that have been hidden for a boarding situation.
Sure. And most of the time I can think of, they seem to pull phasers out of, and in just about every room they're in, there's like a phaser hidden somewhere. So that sounds right.
Can I do that? Go check and see if there's a phaser that still has a battery charge to it.
Because I've got 3 threat, I'm going to make a complication that the phaser you find actually has no charge.
Shit. Commander Telek, do you think there's any way you could use the battery from this disruptor rifle to charge the phaser?
I will say that weapons power systems aren't exactly my area of expertise, but I can take a look at it and see what I can do. And I'll just start messing around with both the disruptor and the phaser just to see what I can do.
And Tilek, as you grab the disruptor and start to disassemble it, we actually transition back to the ready room, the situation with the captain.
No!
So what's happened, Nix, is you've waited here for a moment after the captain told his personnel to bring someone. The door opens and the guards are bringing in Mr. Wrench.
Hello, Mr. Wrench.
Glad to see you, Captain. What's up with these guys?
They're doing the whole tough guy thing.
Huh. I see.
And one of them pushes Alan against the wall. They have their disruptors pointed at him. And the captain says to you, Nix, I'm going to make this very simple for you. You tell me how you collapse the tunnel, or we're going to vaporize your crewmen.
Let me be as equally as succinct. You're going to let my crewmen go this instant, or I'm going to make sure that every single one of your people on this ship doesn't leave alive. I've lost too many things already in the Delta Quadrant. I'm not about to lose one of my crewmen.
I like it, Nick. So why don't you give me a command presence? This is going to be a difficulty 4, but you do have a focus.
All right. Yeah. I think it's one of those things where I think peace is always an option, but I think not afraid to get my hands dirty is starting to come into play here more often. So that'll be determination off the bat for the 2 free successes. We don't have any momentum. I'll give you 2 threats, so I'm rolling 3 dice. And that gives me the 4 successes I need. Actually, wait a second. I have rattle. So that means no, I don't want to use rattle there because that would be a complication. So yeah, just the 4 successes.
Okay. And the captain, after he hears you say that, he kind of lowers his head a bit and he says, "Trust me, Captain. I know all about loss. That's why we're here. There's a war going on. I don't want to kill you or your crew. I need answers. That tunnel collapsed and you caused it."
Well, then, in the interest of not causing more loss, perhaps you'll actually listen to what I said previously and the fact that we don't know how he collapsed it. As I said, we sent probes through it, we did a scan of it, then it collapsed. We didn't do anything else to the conduit.
And he sighs, "Captain, if you unlock your computer, I will take your sensor data on the underspace, purge it, and if your sensor logs are correct, if this is not something that you did intentionally, we will let you go. If I find out you've been if I find out you've been deceiving me, though, Captain, well, it is my intention to kill your crew and take your ship as a prize. Am I understood?"
Well, let me be equally blunt. If you start killing crew, let's just say that there is a general order for this very situation.
And his comm beeps and he hits the button. Yes, I told you I did not want to be disturbed. And you hear someone in the background, "Captain, something happened with the gravity. We can't move." And the captain looks up to you, Nix. "Is this your doing? Is this your crew?"
I've been here with you this entire time, but is it my crew's nature to rail against their jailers? I'd say so.
"Tell them to stop before this escalates."
You're the one that's escalating at this point. If you had simply contacted us instead of holding us hostage, none of this would have happened.
"You demand trust, but you give none in return. Remember, your people
Again,
are the one that
you're
unleashed
pointing
this."
a gun at my head. I'm not going to trust anyone who has a gun at my head and a gun at the head of my crewmen.
"If you order your crew to stand down, I will look at your computer records."
I think Nyx just sort of crosses her arms and just smiles at him. I don't think she says anything further.
Reg turns to the Ture that's next to him and says, if you're gonna fire that, you're gonna want to use full power.
And the one Tory that's across the room, he kind of tilts his head to the side. That thing hanging off of your belt, and he points to one of your tools. Is that a Benton 1000?
But the 1000, those haven't been good for years. This is the Binford 3000 series.
And he kind of tilts his
Comes
head.
and he actually pulls it out and says, "See, I got the extended battery, and if you look over here, you can see it's got the attachable light."
And he snatches it from you. He says, I am confiscating this weapon.
Wrench winks at him. Yeah, weapon. Don't worry, I got a lot of those in my quarters.
And before that gets uncomfortable, we move back to the cargo bay. So to
Wait, I have a question first.
Sure.
How well prepared is Wrench? How much will he be leaving behind?
Oh, he is the entire product line. That's his quarters.
That's very
He doesn't
important.
have any personal
Thank you.
Oh
effects.
God.
So yeah, moving us back to Telek. So Telek, I'll give you a choice here. You can either succeed at cost swapping the power from the disruptor to the phaser, because this would probably be a trivial task for you, or you could do a roll, which of course could give you momentum or possibly complications.
You know what? We have not been very lucky tonight, so I'm just gonna succeed as cost.
I think with one disruptor, you could charge it down to power two phasers for the remainder of the session. You probably don't want to go to the Dominion War with this phaser. It won't last you too long, but enough to get 2 phasers functional.
That's fine. It's good enough.
Alan will take the phaser and be like, I just didn't like the ergonomics on those Touré weapons. They're not designed for humans, I guess.
This won't last forever, but I think it'll be good enough for now.
Thanks, Commander.
And the Tory says, I prefer to be executed. I will not spend my time in a Vadoir prison.
Vardwar? What?
You are obviously allied with them.
I think you're mistaken here, Mr. What's your name?
My name is Fred.
Fred. Well, Fred, we're not friends with the Vardwar either. But hey, if the Vardwar do show up and you still want to be executed, who am I to stand in the way?
You collapsed the tunnel, the underspace tunnel. Why would you do that if you were not allied with them?
Fred, I think it was an accident.
Yes, it was. It's just an occurrence during advanced scanning functionalities.
But a ship like yours freed the Vadoir.
That was also,
Not
from my
intentional.
recollection, an accident. Yeah, sometimes that stuff happens when you, yeah.
What do you intend to do with me?
Well, one of the options is to put you to sleep.
So death then.
No,
No,
not
no.
permanent, like,
No, that just a restful sleep.
My last duty shift has been very long. The captain
Then
has...
you will embrace this. And he walks over with the hypo spray and just pops him.
And Fred collapses. With a smile on his face, though.
Well, I guess we begin our effort to retake the ship, Commander.
I heard from the doctor that apparently some of the gravity on a different part of the ship has been, uh, hmm, he messed with it a little bit. So we might want to keep an eye out where we're going. That way we don't end up accidentally, I don't know, smashed to the ground or anything.
Well, we're only a few decks below main engineering. From there, we could probably reinstate the ship's functions.
That would not be possible.
No?
Both the captain and I will be needed.
Okay, I guess our first act is to get the captain.
That sounds like a plan.
Is Harlock able to move?
Well
Yeah.
done, Josh, is he?
Yeah, he just had a non-lethal injury, and then, of course, Tessera got him back up. So probably besides a large bruise on the jaw, I think he's able to operate just fine.
Alrighty then. Yeah, Harlock is gonna grab some sort of a tool or makeshift melee weapon out of one of the crates and more or less just look for direction.
Oh, we have an extra phaser.
And Harlock sort of looks at the offered phaser and says, "Nah, it'll be more useful in someone else's hands."
Fair enough. So I think we're going to attempt to make our way to. Do we want to try to go directly to the bridge?
I think so.
We do have the advantage that these two likely have no idea about the layout of the ship, especially without access to the computer. So we could probably use the Jeffries tubes, maybe even crawl through some turbo shafts and go directly to the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Engineering
Maybe.
might be another good place because that's another place you can control the entire ship from.
But we need the captain to unlock the computer.
True, but I'm just saying it might be closer to go to engineering than to go all the way to the bridge. Because remember, the cargo bay is at the bottom of the ship.
Yeah, I know.
For reference, you're on deck 15, main engineering's on deck 11, sick bay's on deck 8, the aquatic deck is deck 6, and the bridge is deck 1, of course.
No, I think unless Commander Tiscara thinks he can break through his own encryption, I think we need the captain to restore ship functions.
I would agree.
So I think we begin to climb.
So we end the scene with the 4 of you guys walking out of the cargo bay. And for the most part, the rest of this deck is deserted. Like the Tory are inside the other cargo bays, securing the other crew members, and of course they're on other parts of the ship. So you don't really encounter much resistance. You just walk out in the hallway, and you quickly find a Jeffries tube and enter it. But with that, we move to the scene back to the ready room. The captain, he's been sitting there. He's gotten a few reports, Nix, from across the ship, just saying that they are encountering issues. So the gravity plates have been a problem. Some of them, it sounds as though the gravity has been increased, and some of them the gravity has been decreased, so they're weightless. And the captain has been frustrated. He's actually knocked stuff off of your table. He's told members of the crew to return back to the ship, and he's talking to a crew that sounds like they're in engineering. And he's saying, "Go ahead and plant the explosives. This may be a complete loss."
So you're being a coward here and deciding that, again, instead of listening to what I've told you now twice, you're just going to blow up your own failures. Honestly, if this is how the Tory act, it's no surprise the Vad War are at war with you.
And he kind of puffs a bit and puts his hand on his phaser, and he takes a breath, and he says, "You have nerve, trying to intimidate me and boss me at this point. If I destroy this vessel, is still a victory. While I would much rather prefer to know how you collapsed the tunnel, if you continue to be so incooperative and your crew continues to fight, then, well, we'll just destroy the ship and call it at that.
I motion at one of the coffee mugs that he's kicked off of my desk, and I say, "Do you know what that is?"
Some kind of pet?
No, that is a coffee mug. It's what I use to imbue beverages. But did you know that I had it specially coated? And this is, of course, out of character. This is a lie. Did you know that I had it coated with a special compound that, if not treated within the next about 30 minutes, you're going to experience shall we say, dementia. You're going to start losing control of your sanity. So I'm going to offer you an honorable compromise. Just walk away. Leave my crew as they are. Leave the ship as it is. Turn and run, and I will spare your lives. Just walk away. That's all you have to do. Just walk away.
And Todd the Tory here over in the corner, he's looking at the Benford 1000. He's got the light feature turned on, and at the sentence that you say, Nix, about the cup causing dementia, he stops and he looks at the captain. And the captain considers what you've just said. So Nix, again, if you can give me a command presence, I'm going to say the difficulty is 3 at this point.
Okay, I don't have my determination back. Let's see.
I think I'm going to spend a threat and increase the complication range by 1, though.
All right, I think if we're gonna mess with complication range, I think now is when I use rattle. So that'll mean it'll be 3d20. And I think I still have a focus here. So
Improvisation, yeah, for sure. So difficulty of 3.
All right. We need a good roll here, RNGesus. Give it to me. It's not quite what I needed, RNGesus. It's not quite.
And he
In
slammed.
fact, that 18 is the complication.
Yeah, complication. Okay. I think I'll take the threat. Oh, go ahead.
Maybe maybe some modification that Wrench has done to the Binford 1000 or 3000 makes it actually dangerous to the Touré who's taken it.
If the Tory had rolled a complication, I would flavor it that
Okay.
way. But I think in this case, this was Nix's complication, so this has to make life a little more difficult for Nix, not necessarily easier.
Mm-hmm.
I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna play the complication like this. This is the captain angry, and he's actually gonna escalate it a little further. And when he does, he grabs the coffee cup and he throws it on the floor, and he says, "Unlock the computer now." And you can tell that he's at the edge of his patience.
I just go back to folding my arms across the chest and smiling at him.
And he looks to Todd, and he looks back to Wrench, and he says, "Do it."
Huh?
And Todd kind of looks at the Benford, and he's like, doesn't, kind of looks at it like it's, he covets it, and he looks back at his captain. He says, "Captain, do we have to? They have done nothing to us." And the captain says, "They refuse to cooperate. They are the enemy."
Well, hold on. Sorry, Captain. It's just, guys, I'm actually one of the foremost Starfleet computer experts, and if you guys just give me, like, I don't know, 2 hours, I bet I could break into that system and get you the information you need. All I have to do is apply more power to the ship's bioneural gel packs.
And this seems to satisfy the captain a bit, and he sits back on the chair. He says, "I had not expected cooperation from your crew.
I think Captain Nix would know full well that Alan Wrench has no idea what he's doing."
Oh, I know. I'm playing the, oh yeah, I'm going along with this plan idea.
But he points to your Wrench, and he says, "If you unlock the computer, I will spare your life and the life of your captain. You have my word."
Yes, sir. Gives him like a kind of like a half-ass salute. And then he turns to the Teray with his tool and says, I am going to need my bid for 3,000 for this.
And Todd the Tory looks to the captain, and he looks back at you, and he hands you the Binford. And it's hard to tell because they have strange expressions, like with no nose. But he looks a little crestfallen, like he's very sad.
Wrench will put it back on his tool belt and pulls up the tool belt and... All right, time to go to work.
So, Wrench, tell me, are you going to actually try to break into the computer, or are you just trying to trick him?
I think he's gonna try.
Could it be like that one situation where Riker starts telling the Ferengi that took over the Enterprise? I think it was Rascals was the episode. Basically, like just doing technobabble as he like silently unlocks the command functions to someone else on the ship.
Yeah, I think it would be flavored more like every time one of these Toure starts to give him a little attention towards the work, he pulls out a new Binford tool and gives him the full sales pitch until they're bored and walk away.
All right. While this is happening, let's go back to the team working their way up through the Jeffries tubes. So I don't have a Jeffries tube scene, unfortunately. But as you guys are crawling your way up the Jeffries tube, you're basically crawling up 14 decks, which will take you to deck 1 to the bridge. It's a long climb, 14 stories. And as you're moving up, it's been slow going, especially because it's dark and it's just the red emergency lights. But you get to around deck 8 when all of a sudden, Alan, I'm assuming you're going first, right?
Yes.
When all of a sudden, this happens very quickly, you feel the gravity in the section of the ship you're in very, very strongly. Like it feels as though you start to weigh quickly from like your normal body weight to almost double your body weight. And you have to scramble to make sure that you're holding on to the rungs of the Jeffries tube so you don't fall down several decks. So Alan, actually let's do everybody. If you can give me, let's do a security daring difficulty of 2. I would accept focuses in like survival or anything fitness related.
Rip Harlock.
I did earn a momentum. Someone could use that on their roll.
I'll use it. Sure, why not?
Beautiful. That means I don't have to take it into my inventory. We're just having a good time here, guys.
Yeah.
Well, these are really bad rolls for me. So
Alan, you feel as though you can continue. You were able to catch yourself just in time. Talek and Tessera, as you feel the gravity, you strongly just like pull yourself to the ladder that's stretching up in the Jeffries tube, and you can't move at all. And Harlock, you are not prepared for the change in gravity at all, and you actually slip and fall. And let's see what's the fair way to do this.
Well, Harlock already suffered one injury, right?
Yup.
Harlock, why don't you roll? I mean, you're probably like on deck. I think I said deck 8. So let's see, there are 15 decks below. So let's say maybe 5 challenge dice.
You want me to roll that, or?
Yeah, I want you to roll 5 challenge dice. That would be how much damage you've taken.
1.
So just 1. So maybe you slip and you just fall down 1 deck and you manage to catch yourself. Just 1 stress. But Talek and Tessera, and probably you, Harlock, as well. Like Harlock, you fell out of the higher gravity range, so you're filling back normal. You could crawl your way back up. But Talek and Tessera, you're kind of glued to the Jeffries tube ladder. And Alan, you're really the only one that managed to deal with this in time.
God, do I keep going?
We'll figure it out. You can keep going.
um, what do we have that could do something here?
Um,
No
Testra's gonna
momentum.
Testra's gonna try to get Telek to come back down a little bit, and then I am going to try to using the med kit that we took. I'm gonna try to boost her adrenaline so that she can go with.
Okay. Sure.
So we're just gonna give Telek an adrenaline shot, basically.
Nothing's going well in this mission.
I'm looking at your focuses, Tessera. That's what my silence was. I think maybe xenobiology remotely connected there.
Okay.
I think it's a medicine daring.
It's good to me.
How about this, Telek? I'll let you decide the difficulty. The difficulty will be the number of free successes that you can use in the next check that has to do with anything physical.
Do I have to be the one to decide? I don't like decisions. I'm only the first officer. I don't want to make decisions.
You don't have to be the only one that decides, but
I
since it affects
I
your character,
I would say just go for the one.
Yeah, I was thinking one as well because I don't want to make it too difficult.
Yeah, I would appreciate that.
I think I could probably do okay with just one.
Okay.
medicine daring difficulty of 1, and yeah, you do have a focus.
There you go.
And I believe with the extra momentum as well.
Mm-hmm. That was the other reason I said go to one.
So Telek, you get that injection, and you feel a little pep in your step. You feel just a little bit stronger.
I'll try once again to
And
pass.
I'm also gonna hand select the numbing agent and basically say, since it's not going to be used for its original purpose, maybe it will help bolster you against potential damage that you will receive. So before any combat, just inject Alan with it.
Can do. Are there any sorts of time limits on this, or
It's experimental. Honestly, I
well, we
don't know
don't
how long
know?
it's going to last. Oh, and just in case, take this to restart his heart.
Uh, yeah, I will grab all of those things and try to make my way up now. I'm very concerned about the prospect of his heart stopping, but okay.
So what's Harlock doing? I'm curious.
I think Harlock is sort of looking up from the deck below and is gonna sort of just shout up. I'm gonna go see if I can't help out in engineering some. Maybe those of us that don't go with you, Alan, we can try and get engineering back.
Sounds like a good idea. As Alan's like struggling but moving up.
Telek, if you can give me that daring security roll again, please. And again, you do have a free success. You just have a difficulty of 2.
Let's see if it works this time.
You feel barely enough strength to pull yourself up through deck 8, and you can continue on with Alan. But that does leave Tessera and Harlock isolated from you two. If Tessera, if you're not going to continue to try to get through it.
Oh yeah, he's not. He's not going to be trying to get through this. He's going to accompany Harlock.
And Harlock and Tessera, as you guys make your way down to the lower deck, and Talek and Alan, as you move away, we move ourselves back to the captain's ready room. Some time has passed. Alan, you've been working on the computer, and the captain is beginning communications and talking to various folks. And he gets a new communication that stands out, and that communication is from his ship. And they say, "Captain, we have an enemy ship incoming." Captain looks up and he says, "Your allies have returned, apparently."
Again, they're not my allies, but it's not like you're listening to anything I'm saying anyway, so...
But he walks over to Todd and he says, "You, keep an eye on them. If they try anything, just kill them. If the one manages to unlock the computer, let me know. I'm returning to the ship." And Todd nods, and the captain walks through the doors of your ready room, and the doors close behind him.
What, is that other Touré still here?
Yeah, it's the two of them. They're standing by the door.
Alright. Has the no-name one given any sort of sign that he's been following the conversation, or is he just sort of doing the guard thing where he just stands there stoically?
He's just doing the guard thing, standing there. He's tapping his toe and humming a quiet tune, but he's not really paying attention.
Then I think I just sort of go over and start picking things up from the floor and putting them back in their proper location. Then I sort of look over to Wrench and I say, "How's the work coming, Wrench?"
Well, Captain, I think I'm gonna have to take apart the entire apparatus here just to get to the computer core. Commander Tiscara did a great job with the encryption, and I'm gonna have to really get inside this thing.
And I suppose that means you're going to have to do a 23J, am I right?
23J. No, that's F. J. Yes, Captain.
And I'd like to imagine that 23J is I'm literally giving Wrench permission to put as much power into the life support systems to anesthetizing gas my ready room in all of Deck 1. Because you did say life support systems were still online.
Yep, life support and computers.
You see, once it takes an unusually long amount of time for Wrench to figure out what you mean, but then he cracks his knuckles and says, "All right, Captain, I'll get to work."
So, Wrench, I think to pull this off, this is probably going to be an engineering daring.
Oh, gosh.
Difficulty of 2? I think with the life support systems functioning, this is going to be fairly easy for him. I think the difficulty is just getting the anethicine gas into the ready room and Deck 1 specifically. That's probably the whole difficulty.
Does his focus in biogel packs or sensor calibration apply?
If you can tell me how he's going to use the biogel packs, sure.
I can think more sensors. I'm definitely trying to purposely target the Touré that are on this deck with the sensors.
Okay, that sounds good. And why don't we give the ship an assist too? Wasn't the ship assist you with probably security structure? If somebody can get the ship.
Nope.
Not its best stats, but yeah, 2 successes. That's all you needed, Alan.
So Alan, he's like when you see an old person typing on a computer, he's definitely poking at it with one finger at a time. Beep, boop, boop, beep, boop, beep. And then he turns to the captain. Well, Captain, I think I did it.
And the Tory in the corner who was whistling, he just collapses. And Todd looks over at him and he kind of starts to sink to the floor and he says, "It was the coffee cup." cup. And Nyx and Wrench, I think unfortunately you guys are going to feel these effects too. If you'd like, you could try to do a roll to resist, which will just keep you conscious very temporarily.
I
mean,
don't think Wrench is smart enough to do that.
I think Nyx does want to try and stay up, with the intent of leaving behind a message in case, somebody gets to her before she wakes up again. So
Why don't we do... let's see. This is one of those things I have to... Let me look at your character sheet to see. It's probably a medicine fitness, and I will say it's a difficulty of 1. Every success you get past 1 will be an additional number of actions you can take. It's like you stayed up more than just 1.
all right, in that case, I'm going to spend that 1 momentum we have.
I don't think you have a focus.
Well, it doesn't matter. I get 4 successes, so we get
Okay.
3 momentum.
You definitely have to make sure to vent the gas.
Yeah, so I think that's priority 1 is once everyone's knocked out, I have life support, get rid of the gas, return to normal. That's action 1.
Okay.
Action 2 is that I'm going to send a message across the entire ship to repel boarders. And then message 3, or action 3, is I want to seal the ready room doors. Let me walk that back. I want to put the turret outside of the ready room and then seal the ready room doors best I can, like even bypassing the manual lockout. And then I tell the computer my command code so that all that has to happen is Cesara has to put in his. And then I probably pass out.
Okay. I think with that, as you start to drain the gas away, you get the rest of the things you said accomplished, and your head gets a little lightheaded, which will just take you out of the rest of the scene, but you won't be down very long. In fact, that moves us back to...
That was a Herculean amount of movements you got. So
yeah,
that was a great roll, man.
Yeah, that was really clutch.
Actually, stepping onto the bridge, Alan and Talek, you see a bunch of unconscious Tori. And there's this slight smell, Talek, you can tell with your Vulcan nose. There's a slight smell of anesthetizing gas, which is probably why they're unconscious. It'll last for probably an hour or so. But there's no one up and around moving on the bridge but you two.
Oh, Commander. I don't see the captain. Check the ready room. I'll make sure these turret are disarmed.
And Talek, you go to the ready room doors, but they're sealed.
Can I override the locks? That way I can get in.
This is kind of humorous. Nyx, how secure would you have made this lock?
Enough that a turret wouldn't get through, but enough that a competent engineer like Talek would know how to get in.
Okay. So Talek, you could succeed at cost, or we could do a roll. It's up to you.
Let's do a roll. That sounds fun.
Okay. Let's do engineering daring difficulty of 2.
We have a couple momentum, so I'll just steal one.
Hell yeah. First time all game. We've been momentum free all game.
I like it.
It's just not Talek's day. Talek is your, trying to access the console to open the doors. The doors just are staying locked. And actually, you see a program. It's like the Nyx lock is the name of the program that's locking the doors. And you realize this is probably something the captain put together.
Commander, any luck? I yell across the bridge.
It's very securely locked. And I'm going to try knocking on the door, I guess. See if he hears me and unlocks it.
Maybe the captain's in the bathroom.
At this point, Nyx, you would be coming to a little hungover, not completely awake.
I I guess I do that, the knock sequence that everybody knows. What is it, 2 taps and then 3 or something like that?
Of course, it's just a secret message for all of the upper officers to know. That way, in case we get locked out, you know who's coming over.
Mm-hmm.
It's because we shared the same dorms, and this was the same code we used instead of putting socks on doorknobs.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I think Nix, you do come to, and you manage to open the door. Assuming that you want to open the door and let Talik or anyone else.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just sort of rub my temples and look around and says, "All right, so can you get the ship back up and running and get get us power back? If not, we need to launch a shuttle and have it tractor the Hyperion the hell away from here."
Captain, and I hold out my phaser as I have another disruptor in my hand.
I'm not going to be a good shot for a little bit, so keep it on hand.
Yes, sir. And I start dragging the turret over to where I've put my my little character there.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to the closest console and get in contact with engineering, because hopefully the other two have made it there by now.
Talik, as you go to a console to start doing that, you do notice that on one of the it's like temporary minor bits of power have been restored, because I don't think you guys have actually brought the systems back up, but and you can tell that there's it's like a short range queue, and you can see the Tory vessel, very short range, and another ship. At least you don't have sensor quality to tell you at this level what the ship is, but another ship is entering the area.
Captain, another ship is approaching.
Any more details than that?
Unfortunately not.
We're just going to have to hope it keeps the Tory busy.
And I'm gonna start getting to work to get the rest of the systems up as much as I can. At least enough that we can get out of here.
As you guys are doing that, we transition actually outside of the Hyperion main engineering. Harlock and Tessera, you guys have easily made your way to main engineering. There really wasn't anyone. And you've just rounded the corner. You're just outside of engineering. I'll put you like right here. And as you can peer around the door, you do see at least one Tory crew member in main engineering. But he hasn't really noticed you yet. He's looking at some of the displays. It looks like he's putting a number of objects around engineering, and he's not really paying attention to anything else.
I look over at the commander and I say, "You want to take him or should I?"
Well, it is there's no time like the present to we'll just I'll go. and he goes in and he's going to try to sneak up.
Let's do a security daring, please. Let's say difficulty of 1.
All right, and surveillance, counter surveillance.
Sure.
That's for sure. And we're gonna use momentum. So if you'll give me a momentum there, Nick. Thank you.
Yep, it just took a second.
Hey!
So he's still not paying attention to you, Tessera, as you make your way into the room.
And then he's gonna try to just because he's still got he's got a load up, so he's gonna try to put him down.
Okay. I think since you made this stealth roll, you can make your way up to him. So that'll be your move, and your action will be a hand-to-hand. I'll say because he didn't notice you, this hand-to-hand roll is just going to be an opposed check to see who wins. If he wins, though, he's not going to actually attack you. He won't do any damage to you. It'll just be that you didn't manage to stick him.
All right.
So if we can do Opposed hand-to-hand checks, please.
Okay, and that's which one again? Daring?
Security daring, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm gonna go ahead and use that last momentum.
So I got 1 success.
Let's see how this goes. And I'll argue with him still sneaking. It's part of the surveillance, counter surveillance
Sure.
sneak up.
Sure.
It's an assassinate. I'm playing hitman here. Oh yeah.
Wow. Okay.
We got 2 back, Nick.
Nice.
So I think with this hypo spray, you don't need to roll any damage. It's designed just to knock him out. And with that many successes, he doesn't even notice you. You walk up behind, and just like a secret agent, you stick him in the neck. The hypo spray injects him, and he just falls completely to the ground, dropping the stuff that he was holding.
He is going to go over to a panel and check the current status on command lockout. And if he notices that Nyx has already put in hers, he is going to unlock it.
And as you make your way to the console, you hear over the loudspeaker the captain speaking about repelling borders. The captain sounds a little sluggish. Her words are slurred just a bit. But then you notice that on the console, like, the captain has entered her half of the command codes.
And then he'll enter his and reroute to engineering. And then all of these little things that this guy's put in here, I'm going to have Harlock beam those out of here. I don't even care what they are. He's putting them around here. They're not good.
I mean, you're not wrong, but remember, we are without power. But I turn to...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I turn to X33 and I say, hey, 33, you still got that built-in transporter, yeah?
EX33 looks like he's been deactivated.
I activate him.
Give me an engineering insight difficulty of 1.
Yeah, this is going to go well.
A
Yeah.
very obvious button.
I'll spend 1 momentum. Hey, there you go. 1.
What you realize is that EX33 probably lost power with the rest of the ship, and he's probably been recharging because he doesn't need to recharge every night. He kind of self-powers. So you find the switch, basically, for EX33 and flip it, and then, slowly, he starts to come back to life. His little ears twitch, and the fins on the side and the top move, and he starts to float up a little bit, and he says, "Oh, hello, my friend. How can I help you?"
You see the explosives, or what I'm assuming are explosives, scattered around main engineering?
Yes, Senior Chief. I'm curious why we would put explosives like this so close to the warp core. It would destroy the ship.
Yeah, long story short, we got boarded. Can you use your internal transporter to get rid of the explosives?
Oh dear, absolutely, Senior Chief. I would be happy to do so. Unfortunately, the transporter might also transport me as well. Should I round them all up and transport them together, or transport them individually?
Round them all up and transport them together.
Where should I take them?
I would say just somewhere outside the ship.
Indeed, I'll get to work on that immediately. Is there anything else I can do to help you today?
No, but thank you.
Don't pardon me for saying so, Senior Chief, but you do have a large bruise on the side of your face. Is there anything I can do to help you with that?
No, I'll be all right. Just a flesh wound. It'll be fine.
And he starts hovering around using a little tractor beam that he creates off of the end of his nose to start pushing the explosives into like a pile, pulling them off the warp core and stuff. And as he's doing that, he passes by the Tory and he turns to you, Tessera. "Excuse me, Commander, but did you know that there's an alien intruder aboard the ship?"
Did not notice. But thanks for pointing it out.
Should I transport this individual somewhere else as well?
No, he'll be out for some time.
Very good. And he goes back to work.
And Tessera's going to utilize his, everybody in the academy took some basic engineering, and he's going to do his best to try to get some power going from down here.
So I think, Tessera, if you want to do that on your own, that's probably an engineering control.
Okay.
Probably a difficulty of 2. However, I will allow the ship to assist with a engineering engine. Sounds about right.
What is it assisting with?
Engineering engines.
Ah, darn. Because I have technical expertise. So I was kind of hoping for computers or sensors, but that's cool.
The
I mean, you
Hyperion
already
nailed
got the
it.
2 successes, so
Well, that works wonderful. So yeah, control engineering. Here we go. I don't have any sort of focus, but that
You
doesn't
just need
matter.
1 success. That's plenty.
4.
So
So we get 2 more momentum.
2 momentum, and Tessera, it's almost like this beautiful Luna class vessel was designed to do all this by herself. You start hitting some keys to reinitialize, and apparently pulling from some auxiliary systems because the warp core has to be powered back up. The lights start coming on, systems start, lighting back up, and the hum of like fusion reactors can be heard from this room.
And it's interesting because I took a talent because of the science part of it, but I have in the nick of time. So it's kind of interesting that
Perfect.
it also works for engineering. So
Perfect. But this seems like the right time to go back to the bridge, because just as you've made that comment to the captain about the other vessel that you've seen approaching, you start to see more information as the power of the ship starts coming back on, and the consoles on the other stations start to light up. The main view screen turns back on, and you see a good shot of the Tory vessel because it's so close.
It looks like they got up engineering. This is the ship that's approaching. Right? We can see that in the background.
The ship approaching is a vessel that as the computer does not able to identify.
So we see the Vardvar ship as well.
You see that ship. You haven't been able to identify it like that. You do see easily the Tory ship because it's the closest. The ship that's moving into the system is what the captain, like Nix would know this because that Tory captain identified it as an enemy Vadwar vessel. But the computer, when you look at it, doesn't identify it that way. It actually says unknown ship.
Well, Talek, Alan, do we have engines yet? Can we get the hell out of here?
Do we want to do anything with the crew that's boarded us first? Or
If you can
just
beam
head
them
on out?
back to their ship, yes.
Oh, that's gonna be a fun roll. Does
just
the
missed
Toure
it by that much.
ship have shields up?
It does.
Captain,
I don't know if
the
I want to risk it, guys.
Captain, the Toure ship has their shields raised. I don't think we could beam them.
Approximately how many Touré are on board right now?
Probably 20.
Stuff them into 2 life pods. Launch the life pods.
Aye, sir. And I'll call a security team up to the bridge to collect these Toure, and then go to work trying to collect the rest.
Okay, I think with the captain's order to repel boarders, Alan, you can see on your screen that most of the ships started trying to fight back, and your superior numbers did overpower the Tory. Just for funsies, Alan, if you could roll me a challenge dice, if you get any effects, that means that you have sustained casualties. So the ship did take some casualties. If you can roll me a d20, any number on that will be number of fatalities. So 6 people were injured fighting the Tory, but the crew reports, Nix, that you guys have been able to overpower them.
Good. Then I think if we're able to, as soon as we get power back to the engines and we've put out the life pods containing the Tory, we just pick a direction and get the hell out of there.
For this
Hi,
to
sir.
happen though, to like because the warp core is still charging, you're going to need to do kind of a hot restart of the core, which I think really only you are qualified probably to do the best.
That's
So what
fine.
I'd like for you to do is an engineering daring again, difficulty 3, and you do have a focus in power systems.
Can Nyx assist by basically working the sister console as Telek does their thing?
Sure, I like it. So you're working together on the problem. So
Mhm.
engineering task for you basically.
Yeah, I was hoping I could go for presence engineering, but I would take controller daring as well.
I think presence engineering would be more of you guiding Telek. If you want to actually work in tandem with him, then that would probably be more like engineering control.
Yeah, I'll take the control.
Okay, that's just the two of you working the problem quickly.
Mhm.
So
I'll
yeah,
use my determination.
Okay.
With machines are easier to understand than people.
Sounds good.
Wow. 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 It's not a good start.
Oh no. Um, do I want to buy anything since we have a couple of momentum, or just go for it?
I would spend all the momentum here.
Nice.
That's the number of successes you needed. I'm going to say the complication here is, Nyx, as you're routing power, the way you figured out how to make this work is to route as much power as you can from the system that powers the QSD, because it's designed to do that. But in doing so, you've actually damaged it, and it's going to be a substantial amount of work to repair it.
I think that's worth it.
Yeah, better to have a ship than no ship at all.
Exactly.
But you can easily
So
work.
we will head as fast as we can away.
You can easily plot a course and go to warp. As you jump to warp, you leave those two vessels, which are starting to engage in combat all by themselves, with the two floating life pods of the people you pulled off of your ship. I think for our final scene, I'm going to move back to the ready room. Nyx? We're sort of a reflection style scene here. Entering the ready room is Telek. Telek, you just buzzed your way in. You just have the crew report that lists out the 6 casualties.
Captain and I have the report. A few crewmen were injured. It looks like we have 6 casualties, other minor injuries that are currently being treated in sick bay. And I'll bring the pad over to her and lay it on the desk.
Hmm. You know, Telek, why is it that every single species we encounter out here decides that they want to shoot first and ask questions later? And then when they ask those questions, they don't actually listen to the answer they're given?
Perhaps it is just a different sort of cultural assumption out here.
I'm starting to wonder if Starfleet's approach to this is the wrong one. I mean, this is what, the fourth, fifth time we've been through a similar situation? Beginning to think that we might have to start bending the rules if we want to survive out here, which ironically would be exactly what Janeway had to do.
I trust your judgment, so if you would like to change our procedures, then we should go for it if it's going to cause us the most success in this mission. We still have plenty of time left in it.
What's the current ETA on getting QSD back up and running?
Telek, it's going to take a while.
I would say there's moderate, even substantial damage to it. It's not irreparable, but it's going to take most of the engineering team quite a few hours of work time to get it back and operational again.
Well, get to it, I suppose. And as soon as you do, I think we are going to actually start heading in the direction of home. We've used QSD to sort of skip leaps and bounds, so let's do a loop. Let's see if we missed anything.
Understood. I'll get right on that.
Well, if that's all, Mr. Telek, you are dismissed.
And Telek will give a nod and leave the ready room.
And yeah, Nyx goes to pick up her coffee mug and take it over to the replicator. When she touches the mug, it actually just sort of shatters, like it was just tension keeping it together. And now that she's applied a little bit more force, like it actually shatters, and she just kind of looks at it wistfully.